Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 spoiler review. Let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Hey man.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the Dancing now.
Oh, Lord on the beat!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes dead is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have a big ol' pot of coffee because it is 5:30 in the morning and I am exhausted. But nonetheless, I'm going to give you an energy-filled YouTube video discussing spoilers for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that just came out a couple of hours ago. So once again, I want to reiterate that there will be spoilers in this video for the new Texas Chainsaw. And also, if you were wondering, I will be sipping at this coffee the entire time unedited. Like, you'll actually have to watch me take sips of this coffee, and it's gonna get really annoying. Go watch like Austin Burke or something. I'm sure he'll do a better review. No, but seriously, no diss towards him. He runs a great YouTube channel, and I'm sure he has already put out a fantastic review of this movie. But seriously, getting into this, before I do that though, I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content where I'm not sipping a coffee at 5:30 in the morning. Usually I'm much more energetic and I'm having a great time talking about horror movies with a clear conscience. But today, it's gonna get interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. So getting into this with Texas Chainsaw 2022, overall, I did enjoy the film, but I wanna say this. If you're expecting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, you're gonna be disappointed. Straight up. Like, this is not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie at all. It's a slasher flick. It is just a straight up slasher movie with some brutal ass kills. And most of it is done practically. There is like a little bit of assistance with digital is something I noticed. It's used very sparingly though, which I think is typically the best way to do a modern day slasher, is to do mostly practical and then just kind of like fill in the blanks with some digital stuff. That's the best way to do it in my opinion, and that's awesome. Overall, we have a story here that is a little like stereotypical city versus country, which kind of annoyed me a little bit, but overall it doesn't last for as long as other movies. Like, if you guys have seen Lake Placid, every single line of dialogue in that movie is some kind of like city person versus a country person. So it's just like, oh god, it gets annoying fast. But in this movie, thankfully, it's just like a few lines of dialogue in the first act, and it's not too over the top. Because like, to me, it's just like something we've seen overdone in so many movies in the past, not just horror movies. I mean, a whole bunch of other films that I can't really think of right now because it's too damn early. But I've seen this many times in horror flicks. The best movie I think to honestly to deal with this is as of most recent, that is Wrong Turn 2021. We see characters from the city and the country actually coming together, working together, and going against the threat in that movie. In this film, we see city people, country people not really working together and kind of fucking up the whole situation and making it worse for each other. And I think that's interesting. It's not really saying one side is right, one side is wrong. It's just saying the fact that we're not working together is a big no-no, and that's how we all get killed by Leatherface, which is it's a good message there. I like that. Another thing I want to talk about, like just to get some negatives out of the way, like to talk about specifically those, I had two big problems with the film, and then I want to talk about all the positives, because there was a lot of positives, but there's two big things that I didn't care for. For the most part, I like what they did with Sally Hardisty's character. I think it was not the same as Laurie Strode, which is a big positive for me. They end up killing her, which is like awesome. Not a lot of movies have the balls to do something like that, so I think that was cool. But the whole conversation where she goes into Leatherface's room and says, "Say my name, like, you know who I am." God, I mean, that is like almost taken directly out of Halloween 2018, dude. The whole, "Say something, Michael, say something!" Cut to title card. Like, dude, that is the same exact scene. Like, it is almost the same damn scene, and I just did not care for it. The only reason they had it was to show Leatherface taking a nap after he was done killing. You know, it takes a lot out of you to pick up somebody with a chainsaw multiple times in one day. I mean, God, he must have been exhausted. But the only reason they had that scene in there was to bring him back out for one last killing spree. And the ending scene is so stupid. Like, this movie had my attention the whole film, and then you just had to do that. Like, look, I'm fine with dark endings, but have them be earned. This was not earned at all. Like I was digging the movie the 90% of the time. We get to that ending scene and Leatherface just pulls Sarah Yarkin's character out of a car window and like chops her head off with a pretty cool effect. I don't know, man. That was so cheap. That was one of the cheapest things I have seen in a horror film in a very long time, and you could have done without it. And then we had the scene after the credits where it's Leatherface going back home to like, I think that was Sally Hardesty's house. It didn't look like the TCM house, but once again, it was like 4 something in the morning when I watched this. I definitely need to do a rewatch. Another thing I had in my notes was this was the Texas Sledgehammer Massacre. He uses the sledgehammer like a little, I guess it's not a sledgehammer, it's like a one-handed sledgehammer kind of tool. I don't even know what that's called. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not a big tool person. I'm much more of an indoors kind of human being. I don't really like doing outside work. It's why I didn't make it as an electrician. So that's why I'm doing YouTube now. It's a much better job, let me tell you. Yeah, there's more kills with the sledgehammer in this movie than the chainsaw. Well, I mean, not by quantity, but like there's more like actual on-screen main character deaths with the sledgehammer opposed to the chainsaw, where we actually, the party bus scene I'm getting to, because that's a massive positive. I loved this about the film personally. We see Leatherface not just using a chainsaw, he doesn't actually use it until like the midway through the second act, which I think is really cool. We get to see Leatherface being a little more resourceful with some of his weapons. We see him using this like one-handed hammer thing that's really cool looking, and we get some nasty fucking kills with it. Richter's death is awesome. Oh my god, maybe my favorite kill of the whole movie, besides the party bus, of course, which was worth my subscription to Netflix this month. Just that one scene alone. I think it's really funny that there was a character named Richter in this, because that's my main in Smash Bros. I'm gonna be honest, my friends like to make fun of me for that, but Richter's the only character I understand in that game. There's something about the fighting style of Smash Bros. I just don't get it. I can't play that game. I'm horrible at Smash Bros. I play as Richter though, and I keep throwing that fucking thing at people, and it keeps coming back and hitting them again. I'm killing it. I can actually win with Richter. So I was rooting for Richter, but he ended up kind of being a dick, and well, he's kind of the reason everyone died. But you know, it's fine. It's whatever. That's a positive for me though. The kills were awesome. Leatherface using a hammer was fucking sick. The first big kill of the movie too is Leatherface snapping a cop's wrist and then poking the protruding bone out of his wrist into the dude's neck, which is like, what? Oh, what a tone setter kill, man. I mean, that kill I feel like really set the tone, because like it showed how grisly all the deaths in this film are going to be. I loved it. I really loved there was no boring kills in this entire movie. Not one kill do I feel like was like, okay, that kind of sucked. No, every single one was good, which is a massive positive, especially if you're going to take Leatherface down the slasher route once again. Yeah, sure, that's a negative with this movie, but I feel like we all kind of expected that from the trailer. Like, yes, I would have loved a new TCM film that goes back to that original feel of the grittiness, the feeling like you're watching a snuff film kind of vibe, and it's not even really a slasher, it's more of an art house kind of film. This was not that, and I can see people being disappointed. Personally, I liked it for what it was. It's a slasher film with some super bloody and gory kills. Does it feel like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie at all? No, it does not. And I can see that being a massive negative. It's something I'm willing to look past though, as a fan of slasher movies. So I'll take it. I mean, Leatherface in a good slasher movie, okay. You know what? If this is the best this series is going to offer at this point, I'll take it. One day, if I could get my hands on this franchise, I would love to make another like art house style film like that original movie, but who knows if that'll ever happen, unfortunately. I would love to see just a direct sequel to TCM, where it takes place maybe like that same day. Filmed in the same style, that 70s look to it, give it like this grindhouse feel. I feel like maybe that would be the best way to do it, with Leatherface as your central character, and have the Sawyer family in it, which was something we didn't see here. Something that I know people will complain about is this movie also does not follow the similar format to what Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies typically followed. There's like all this lead up with like building the characters, and this all their character deaths happen separately, like when they're all away from each other, because you know they split up like the intelligent people in horror movies. And then there's a dinner scene. There's always a dinner scene in so many Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I'm happy they didn't do it a dinner scene, because fuck, there has been so many dinner scenes in these movies, and I'm like, okay, let's do something else. You know, the dinner scene in that original is horrifying, and it's great. But then like a bunch of the other sequels try to copy that, and it sucks. It gets worse every single movie, in my opinion. So I was glad they didn't end up going the same route as the original film. I was worried that they would do something like that, and honestly, I'm kind of glad they ended up doing their own thing. I would rather see that than them just try to copy stuff from the original. Although I do want to see a new movie that kind of borrows the tone of that original film and the vibe, the look of it, but does its own thing. That's what I think that's what I want to specifically get at when I say that about wanting a new TCM film that has the same look as the original, because that's like, that can be taken multiple ways, and I don't want another film that's exactly like the original, but I want one that looks like it and feels like it, and it's not all about the kills. There's a bunch of off-screen kills in the original Texas Chainsaw, but it's all about the psychological terror, where a lot of the sequels are not about that at all. So one day I would love to see that happen, but obviously this is not that film. And I'm fine with that. This is still a really fun movie. Something that it also deals with that is really unexpected yet strangely powerful is the school shooting stuff, which is, I feel some people will think it's unnecessary, but I feel like it's really important to the main character to be this survivor kind of character like that. She's perfect final girl material because she's dealt with stuff like this in the past, which is horrifying and terrible. But like, that's how you have a good final girl character. I see a lot of criticisms of other horror movies where it's like, well, this was just some random person. How did she just know how to use a gun? How did she know how to fight a slasher killer? This movie kind of has an answer for that, which I think is cool, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean, like, it's an upsetting subject matter, obviously, that has affected many people in our modern age, but it's something that we see explored in this film and in many other films. And yes, it's a sensitive subject, but it's something that I feel like we do need to talk about, you know, because it's like it's a tough thing. A lot of people unfortunately struggle with this kind of trauma, which is just a horrible thing. So let me talk about the party bus real quick, because I'm going on 13 minutes now. Jesus. The party bus scene was awesome. I fucking loved it. Look, I love when you get a slasher killer that's been around for a long time, and, you know, he's had some kills here and there. You know, he kills one person at a time. Cool. You know, whatever. Leatherface has done that in the past. Leatherface has never killed an entire party bus full of millennials, okay? I've never seen that shit happen, or I guess Gen Z is the appropriate term, because millennials is technically not that age, although we still call people of my generation millennials. That's awesome. I mean, holy shit, that whole scene was terrifying and fucked up and disgusting. Every single kill was something. It wasn't just like a slash to the chest or something. We see all of these random people just get like their arms shaved off. We see a leg get thrown into a crowd at one point. I mean, it is messed up. It's truly a great sequence and just a great massacre scene. That is something I've always wanted to see in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, because, like, yeah, you know, we had 4 people get killed in the original film or whatever from the cast of characters there, but in this film we actually see like a massacre happen. This is like this is a large-scale massacre going on here, and it's fucked up. And I guess it technically happens in Texas, even though this film was filmed in like not Texas. So I really enjoyed that scene. It was fucking disgusting and worth the price of admission. Like, I'm so glad I paid for Netflix this month to watch this. That was worth it alone. Even though this movie has some problems, I still really enjoyed it. The final battle scene with Leatherface, the set is fucking awesome and super scary. Maybe another negative of this film, though, is a lot of the like scenes in this movie. It looks like sets. It looks like sets for a horror movie, which is like kind of disappointing, but at the same time also kind of cool. Like, especially this final battle scene with Leatherface, I feel like it's just so cool because of the setting. We get a watery third act setting to fight Leatherface in, which is something I don't think we've ever seen before. That's fucking sweet. I was digging that a lot. The whole final battle sequence with Leatherface is very fun, but then once again kind of gets ruined by that ending where Leatherface just kind of resurrects himself, even though he's like an old man. Just kill the guy. Have some balls, movie. Just have a good ending if you want to have a good ending. Or kill both of your main characters. Do one or the other. Stop it with this, the killer comes back at the end of the movie. I mean, we've seen it a million times, you know. It's just like something we've just seen it so many times. I'm annoyed by it. That's why. And also, it's not earned. It's not an earned dark ending. I don't know. That was such a fucking weird way to end your movie. Like, I'm down for a dark ending in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie because, like, of course, if you wanted to kill both these characters in that end scene and do something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre the beginning, I'm so down for that. I'm down for dark endings, but have it be earned, man. This was not earned at all. They just killed this character because they wanted a cool sequence that was parallel to the original movie. The original movie's ending. That's the only reason they did this. And that's why I'm kind of, that was my biggest negative for the entire film. I really liked a lot of things about this movie. I think the overall story was cool. It wasn't like super crazy or anything like that. It was a slasher plot line, which is like all I was expecting from it. For that, it served its purpose and it was cool. There was a lot of people in this movie that ended up just kind of being body bags. And you're gonna get that in a slasher. I'm not gonna criticize the slasher for doing things like that. I'm not gonna review this movie the same way I would like an A24 film that is super involved with its characters and all that. This is a slasher flick. This is much more about like just a showcase of kills, showing off a really fucked up looking slasher, and giving you some powerful performances from like the main characters, which this movie delivers on, in my opinion. There is a lot of characters that I feel like we're just put in this movie to be meatbags to get killed. So, and that's, you know, you're gonna get that in any slasher movie. But overall, I think this was a fun time and it was worth the watch. It's a quick movie too. It's only 82 minutes, which was really helped it, really served this story. I think this needed to be a quicker movie. I've been talking a lot on live streams about how I want more movies to just be however long they have to be. Why do we have to follow this 90-minute story formula with movies nowadays? We've been following that for so many years, and we've been kind of breaking that recently, which I'm glad about. This movie actually could have been shorter, in my opinion. We could have made this 75 minutes, honestly, and I think it would have been perfect. And Host, for example, is a great example of that. It's an hour-long film, and I think it's the perfect amount of time. If it was any longer, it wouldn't work. Host is a great movie. It's one of my favorite found-footage horror films, just because of the length, and it's just the right amount of time for this movie to work for me. If it was any longer, it probably wouldn't have worked. So I appreciate this movie for not having to be 90 minutes. It's 82 minutes, and like I said, I think it honestly could have been shorter. It's not that big of a story to spend a lot of time with. A lot of the characters aren't that interesting to make this a 2-hour movie. And that's fine. I think the two main characters, like Sarah Yarkin and Elsie Fisher, they were great, very well written characters. Sally Hardesty did not really take the Laurie Strode route as much as I was worried that she would. She ends up kind of just dying, which is cool. I was like, okay, hey, that's cool. I'm glad they didn't do the exact same thing they did with Laurie Strode in this new movie, where she just lives and continues to fight Leatherface. You know, it's just like, okay, whatever, who cares? I will say that one scene, though, was a bit too parallel to Halloween 2018, the whole Say My Name bit. I didn't care for that too much, but like I said, overall, this is a fun film. It's a great slasher flick, and you're going to have a fun time watching it. It's very bloody. It's very gruesome. And if you're looking for a slasher flick with some disgusting, disturbing kills, you're going to like this movie. If you're looking for a TCM movie that's much more like the original and much more like an art house psychological horror film, you're going to be disappointed in this movie. So if you go into it with that mindset, you're not going to like this film. Go into this film with the mindset of, it's a slasher flick, and I'm just having a good time watching it. That's the last thing I want to say about it. Overall, I did like the film. If I had to rate it like on a scale of 1 to 10, 6.57 out of 10, maybe 6.5 I'm leaning more towards. It was good, but it wasn't anything super special. Like, I loved the kills. It was disgusting. It was bloody. It was fun. But overall, was it anything super crazy or special? Nah. I mean, it's just another slasher flick. It's fun. It's great. I'll probably watch it again at some point, but nothing like ridiculously critical or groundbreaking in this franchise, in this long-running franchise. So thank you all so much for watching this. What did you guys think about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching this new review video. I've been going on for 20-some minutes now, so this is probably the perfect time to end it. Speaking of things being too long or too short, in this case, too long. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you can. I woke up very early to make this video, so it would mean a lot to me if you guys could subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, do all that mumbo jumbo. It would make me so happy. Make sure to support me on Patreon too if you can. The link for that will be in the description below. Just for $1 a month, you get at least one extra video a month. And if you support me at the higher tiers, you also get some more videos and some other exclusive content. So make sure to check that out. Description below, that's where the link is. Thank you all so much for watching. Wow, I better end this video, man. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.